Hello everyone, I'm Kathy Powers, Superintendent with the Twinsburg City School District. Welcome to Twinsburg Schools Today. Well, we're almost past winter and we're almost into spring, and today is our March show, and we have some wonderful guests with some great conversation for you. To begin today's show, I am being happy to introduce to you Scott Asti. He is our Assistant Principal at Wilcox Primary School. Hi.
Hi, Mrs. Powers. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you're here. And Scott, you have a lot of hats that you wear over at the primary school. And starting our Tigers on the very first step of a great school career is so important.
Yes, we found that reaching students with early intervention, early opportunities to learning is really going to be their key and their first steps in their educational career.
Right. And so one of the things that you manage at Wilcox is really the oversight of our preschool programs.
That's right. Currently our preschool program is an integrated preschool program that services about 84 students ages 3 through 5, and it is an integrated program, whereas it helps students who have been identified as having special needs as well as typically developing peers to help them as a strong role model.
Right. So the integrated preschool is one of the programs that we're very proud of in our school district. And I know about 2 years ago it was successful in the completion of an audit. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about that audit and the designation that the school earned because of it?
Sure. A couple years ago, the state of Ohio came in and they started a Step Up to Quality program, which is a 5-star rating program for all of the preschools in Ohio. And part of that was to come in and really assess our curriculum, what we're doing for our students, and what we provide for our teachers and staff as well, and to look that we're really giving students a quality education. And we did come out with that 5-star rating from the state of Ohio.
Right. And our preschool, the current preschool at Wilcox Primary School, has had a lot of success beyond just a designation by the Department of Education. Can you talk to our audience a little bit about the kind of program the integrated preschool is?
Sure, it's a great program, 2.5 hours a day for our students. There are AM and PM sections. And right now, like we mentioned, it's for students with disabilities and typically developing peers. We have a formal curriculum and we help move the students forward and get them ready for kindergarten.
Right. And how many sections of little ones do we have?
Currently we're at 6 sections, 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, taught by 3 intervention specialists.
So students who are identified for the integrated preschool, for the most part, are students that have identified disabilities?
Correct. We run a 50-50 ratio, so half of the students in the class have been identified as having a disability, and that can be a disability where it involves speech and language to more profound needs as well. And then the other half are those typically developing peers.
Right, and that's really important, right?
It is. It's key to have great positive peer models for those students for the language purposes, social emotional, how to behave and function in that school environment.
So these are 3 and 4-year-old children, and this is their very first school experience. Imagine being 3 and 4 years old.
It's exciting. For the young students, they come in, and a lot of times they don't know any better. So it's taking them and molding them and seeing them grow into developing students and then into adults even.
Now, so a group of preschoolers, how many children approximately in each classroom?
There are 16 students in a classroom at this point.
Mm-hmm. So small groups?
Small groups. There's 1 teacher and 1 aide in a classroom, 8 students with special needs, 8 typically developing peers.
And then an instructional assistant that supports that?
Correct.
And the children have art, music, physical education class too?
Yeah, the integrated preschool program has art, music, and PE taught by the Wilcox Art, Music, and PE staff. The students go there as a group, so it is a larger group in those environments, but the students are working with those specialists in those areas.
And they have a lot of exciting things such as the preschool rodeo that was just a month or so
We just had the rodeo a couple weeks ago, a great family engagement activity to see the students singing, dancing, performing, and then bringing the parents as part of that process as well.
Now, you and I are both really proud of our preschool program, as is Miss Villa, the principal at Wilcox. And that over the last several years, we've begun to see some trends when our children started kindergarten experience. Can you share some of the trends that we've seen with our young learners?
Absolutely. About 3 years ago, we started doing a kindergarten screening process. And really back in May, before that next school year, looking at students and where they are. one of the things we were able to do is track them, how they were coming in prepared for reading, math, and then as well as the social emotional aspect. One of the things we noticed was that students without preschool experience were approximately 25% less likely to come in with that preschool experience and perform as well as their other student peers who had gone to preschool.
So there's a significant difference for children who've had preschool versus those who have not had preschool.
Correct, and that was really it. The students who had the preschool experience did perform better. About 25% in reading, they performed better. Math was about 23%. And then social emotional was an area that we didn't put a definite marker on it, but there was significant social emotional ramifications too. Students being able to take turns, to share toys, and to even just follow directions, basic directions, and get along with one another. We noticed a significant difference. So we thought to ourselves, what are some things we can do to reach out to the community and to these students to get them this preschool experience a little bit sooner?
And I know one of the things that you've been working hard behind the scenes is our partnership with the Summit Education Initiative and our Early Learning Readiness Coalition here in our district.
That's right. Laura DeCola, Matt Devers, and Darren Weimer reached out to us to form kind of a collaboration with the local area preschools, the Twinsburg Library, and other agencies to really support early learning readiness in the communities. And we've had a few meetings now discussing the dialogue of what some of these community needs are. We're very fortunate in Twinsburg to have a lot of preschools who are doing a great job preparing the students. And so, those students are doing great. They're coming in prepared. They have more of that social emotional readiness to learn and to be part of that kindergarten. But there's still that group that we just weren't reaching out.
Right, and so we are so excited to announce that our Board of Education most recently approved our request that we would be expanding our preschool opportunities for kids starting with this 2018-2019 school year.
That's right. We've been working very hard to develop what we call the Kindergarten Preparatory Program, kind of a young fives, fours program where students need to be the age of 4 by August 1st, 2018. And so it's their year before coming into kindergarten, and it's really similar to the integrated preschool program, a 5-day-a-week program, 2.5 days a week, so it'll run parallel to it. But it'll really reach out to those students who don't have that preschool experience. It'll provide some opportunities for them in a different light.
Now, sometimes families make the personal decision that they don't want their child to go to preschool, and we still support that.
Correct.
But in some cases, it has been that an opportunity wasn't available that parents were attracted to.
Right. Every year we typically have anywhere from 20 to 40 students without that preschooling experience coming through the kindergarten screening. And, I'd say about half of those students, the parents just choose willingly that they want their child at home. They're providing them, a rich environment through the library's wonderful programming, or just at home with a grandparent who might have been a teacher, or just to continue that connection. But there's other families in the community who just don't have the opportunity to pay for the preschooling or a means of transportation to get them to the local private preschool environments.
Right. So this Twinsburg KPP program is not to replace current preschool offerings in our community.
No way.
That's not the intent at all.
Not at all. We form, through the Readiness Coalition, a great connection and bond with the community preschools, and they're providing a great service to our community, one that we don't want to duplicate. Mm-hmm. So when we were very cognizant as we were looking for the programming and curriculum options for this program, how it could be a little bit different, not to overshadow what they're already doing.
Right, and also a bit different than our integrated preschool program.
Correct. It was important to really look at this as provide something that's similar, but the how to present that similar thing being differently. So we're looking at a project-based model. So it's very inquiry-led, project-based learning where the students really are the facilitators. They're the leaders in their education based around their interests.
And that's a trend all the way up through grade 12.
Absolutely. You hear that over and over again in different news articles and research that, learning that the students lead that interests them the most is the most meaningful education that they could receive. Right. So what we're looking at doing is starting this at this young age and then continuing having those conversations with kindergarten and first grade about how to make it more inquiry-based, project-led.
It's a different slant to a preschool opportunity.
It is. It's something that's fairly unique, reaching out to other professionals in the community, and having conversations about, the worth of a program like this was definitely helpful in making this decision as well.
I think that through the time, education, even for our youngest Tigers, has become much more rigorous. And so how do you infuse that rigor by also making learning fun, especially for the youngest children that we have here in our district?
Right. It's such a delicate balance because, you talk to some of the teachers who have been teaching for 20 plus years and they joke that the kindergarten is the new preschool. And unfortunately, some of those requirements have, increased over the years. So, with the preschool getting back to that play-based, inquiry-led, environments is going to be really meaningful to really balance those expectations of early learning readiness and what the students need to be successful in not just Twinsburg or Ohio, but in our global economies that we have to compete, internationally.
Right.
To start them young, to get them prepared for, think box companies like Google and, Amazon and different places who are, a little bit more, personnel focused and about the worth of it.
Well, and I think that in this problem-based learning environment, kids can work together, and oftentimes they're trying to solve a puzzle or look at a situation differently. And one of the things that I've been doing a lot of reading on is having the grit and being able to fail, but know what to do when you fail, and how do you look at the situation again, look at it from a different angle, and come up with a solution that's workable.
And that's such a powerful piece to learn to fail. And that's kind of coming, something that we're hearing is students don't know how to fail anymore. And so, part of this is that language that goes behind failing. And, well, how do you fix it? How do you overcome this obstacle? Well, that didn't quite work right. So what could you do differently or do better next time so it does work? And it gets them thinking to become problem solvers opposed to just problem doers.
Yeah, I'm excited about this opportunity for our young Tigers. Now, if I'm a mom or dad or a family member sitting at home watching the show, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, this sounds like the perfect preschool experience for my young one, what would I need to do?
Well, this week we're kicking it off on our website, so we have all the information on there. You can come into the Wilcox office as well. The application is going to be online, and really the requirement is going to be that the child's 4 years old by August 1st of 2018. Okay. From that, we'll look at the students based off a need factor, and if we have a great turnout and a lot of interest in the program, there will be a lottery system to select, the number of spots that we have for this programming.
And this is a tuition-based program.
It is a tuition-based. Currently, we're looking at $1,875 for the year, which really is right in line with our integrated preschool program. Currently, our integrated program is 4 days. The kindergarten preparatory program is going to be a 5-day program. Breaking it down, it's $10.42 a day for a 2.5-hour preschool experience.
Not too bad.
Not too bad at all. So we're going to look through the applications and really make sure they meet those qualifications of being 4 years old and bring them into the program.
And will there be a screening process that I would expect my child would have to go through in order to finalize registration?
The screening process will involve just verification of, residency through the office, but it's more lottery-based for this purpose.
Okay. So this is an exciting time in our school district. We're still in the month of March, and there's a lot left to the 2017-18 school year, but we're way deep into planning for next year.
That's right. It's going to be here before we know it. We just closed off the integrated preschool program applications, and we're actually just pulled our lottery for those students to go through the actual screening process to get the best typically developing peers for that program. And then we opened it up, so we're going to start accepting the applications for the kindergarten preparatory program and send out those invites. If a student, by chance did not make the integrated preschool program, they may be invited, if they're age eligible, into the kindergarten prep program.
And is there a deadline to apply for the new program?
Right now we're looking at June 1st to collect the applications by, and really reach out to and have parents and family the chance and the opportunity to really think about if this is something that they want their child to do. Because part of this, may be families who have typically sent their child on to kindergarten knowing that they may not totally be ready, whereas this may give them another year under their belt to get comfortable, to be part of that structured social learning environment that we're going to provide.
Well, that's great. I'm so appreciative of all of your efforts behind the scenes and that of Ms. Villa and the preschool staff that we currently have at Wilcox Primary School. Excited about new opportunities for our youngest learners.
Yeah, definitely thanks to Ms. Villa for making this possible and supporting this. Denise Trappigan, Pupil Personnel Director, making sure that this goes through the Board of Education has been very supportive, and yourself as well, to, as a community, identify that there's this need and actually do something about it. It's certainly appreciative by the staff at Wilcox, and I'm sure the families of Twinsburg.
Well, we'll have to have a checkup next school year to find out how this exciting new program is going for our youngest students. And again, I appreciate your time today, and thanks for taking leadership in this new exciting opportunity for Tigers.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, Ms. Bowers.
Oh, you're welcome. When we return, we will have special guests from George G. Dodge Intermediate School with some exciting news about a brand new designation, Ohio Schools to Watch. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Twinsburg Schools Today. I hope you found our first segment about our new preschool program very interesting. And again, if you are interested in more information, please visit the district website at www.twinsburg.k12.oh.us. And now, a special announcement and our special guests from George G. Dodge Intermediate School. Welcome to Principal Reggie Holland and Assistant Principal Julianne Walker.
Hi, Mrs. Powers. How are you?
Good. I am so excited about exciting news. So why don't you announce to our residents what we're all excited about here?
So we, along with our students and staff at Dodge, are extremely excited about being named an Ohio School to Watch and a National School to Watch by the Ohio Department of Education.
Mm-hmm. That is super exciting news. So what does that mean? That's a whole lot of words. I'm not sure if I was sitting at home and not related to the district, I would even understand what an Ohio Schools to Watch school is.
So what Ohio Department of Education does is they like to recognize high-performing schools, schools that not only work on high academic standards, but also work on social standards, being things that give students the opportunity to really strive in all of their strengths. And so what they do is they want to recognize schools that are high performing in those areas, and then open the door for high performing schools to collaborate with other schools across the state of Ohio, as well as across the state, across the country.
So it was a competitive experience then for Dodge Intermediate School.
It was.
It was a very comprehensive process. It started out with a self-assessment with some community members, some our staff, and the administration, and we kind of looked at our strengths and weaknesses as a whole school community. And then it went on to an application, and then eventually a site visit where they came to see exactly what goes on at Dodge.
So there was a written assessment and then sort of an application process that was engaged at the school. Now, was it done just by administration, or was there a committee of staff members that were involved in the writing process?
So it's a combination of all of the above. We start off with a committee made up of teachers, and through that process, the committee actually reaches out to the entire staff. They become kind of extended committee members to help gather data and gather information. Part of that does include reaching out and surveying, talking with kids about strengths and weaknesses, building a survey that's actually done by the Ohio Schools to Watch, where each teacher, instructional assistant, all the staff members get an opportunity to weigh in on strengths and weaknesses at Dodge.
Nice.
Yes.
So it went through the process, the writing process, and takes some time to do that.
Yeah, it took us several weeks to go through to answer the questions, to edit, to get different points of view, to make sure that our strengths are really highlighted. And in that piece, it also called for, what are you working on? What are some challenges, and what do you think we can do about it also? So it was very comprehensive.
So if you had to identify a couple of things that you were so proud about Dodge and the application, what were those one or two things?
I think for me, one of the things that I was proud of was the academic piece. Not only the strength of our students in general, but the strength of our academic programming, the strength of how we are delivering instruction, our kids and kind of their willingness to take on new academic challenges and struggle and grow it from that fashion.
I think also one of the other points was developmental responsiveness, and about how Dodge and how, along with the Twinsburg City Schools, how we work to educate the whole child and what is available for the child not only academically but social emotionally as well. The different programs that we have available, the outside agencies such as Beachbrook that we come into contact with, just the many things that we have to offer the child from every end of the spectrum.
Going to school today is more than just the A, B's, and C's, right?
Yes.
It's helping young ones really develop into themselves and to feel good about who they are and understand that they have so much to give back to society in general.
I think so too. We've always pushed leadership, even all the way down through 4th grade, and I think it was an opportunity for other schools and other people around the state of Ohio to really see the kind of leaders that we're developing at Dodge. I think that was the other piece that I was proud of and that I saw through the process is just the amount of leadership and how our students can kind of stand up and develop those skills.
And one of my favorite things about our board meetings happens to be when Dodge has their student leaders come and introduce Students of the Month, and how proud the student leaders are to have that important role and to demonstrate that they communicate well and that they're leaders in many, many different ways to the students that are not only in their grade levels but the younger children too. Talk to me a little bit about this site visit, and I happened to be there for part of that day back, I think it was in December. Exciting day all the way around.
I think it was a really exciting day because they want to see the day-to-day. They didn't want to see a dog and pony show, for lack of a better term. They wanted to see how strong our students were, how strong our programming was, and so there were 3 people that came from the Ohio schools to watch to be part of that site visit. And they had to see every component of Dodge, whether it was the academics, the arts, the social media, the socialization of it, everything that we do to support our students. And when you talked about that leadership piece, I think there was a big piece of that because our students kept run the process for the site visit. They did the tours, they planned the luncheon, they did many components of what the visitors came to see throughout the day.
I think the thing that I remembered most from our visitors was the fact that they didn't want to see a show. They wanted to really just infiltrate through the day, through our classrooms, and see what life is like at Dodge. And I think they went away feeling pretty good about that.
It was a great day, and especially since 2 out of the 3 committee members that came that were designated from the Ohio Department of Education were actual teachers in middle schools or in intermediate schools throughout the state. So they got to come and see what they live on a different level.
Right.
And the ideas that they wanted to take back and the chance that we got to talk to them to share some ideas, that was really beneficial as well.
Right. So all that hard work, and then we had to wait, and then in December or January, I suppose it was January, we finally got notice that Dodge was designated an Ohio Schools to Watch.
Yes.
So what's next for Dodge?
So what is next for Dodge? Well, I think the next thing is that, at some point we want to begin our full celebration process. We want to acknowledge the hard work that our teachers have done, the hard work that our students have done. This opportunity here to share with our community, but also the opportunity to collaborate across the state of Ohio. One of the things that we learned from the Ohio Schools to Watch was that part of this is opportunities for schools that are doing good work to share ideas, for us to share with other schools the strengths of Twinsburg, as well as hear the strengths of other schools across the state of Ohio and across the country.
So will there be a conference that you'll be attending representing Dodge?
There is. We'll be taking a team of teachers to Washington, D.C. To accept our official designation. And so we're really excited about that.
And that's in June?
That is in June.
And that's the national level.
That's the national level. And then we have a local celebration as well. That'll be in the Cleveland area, actually, where we're going to be also accepting our local designation.
You both have to feel so proud of everybody back at Dodge, the staff, the students, our parents, our supportive community. It's just it's an amazing thing, and it's hard work to reflect and to write an application. But when all of it comes together and others recognize the great work that you do, and that in the middle of it all we have nearly 1,000 students at Dodge who benefit from excellent staff members, supportive parents, a community that's been so generous to us, and we're so thankful for that support.
It really took a whole team to put that entire project together. It involved community members, it involved students, teachers, staff, administration. It was not a one-person shot by any means, and it just shows what a great place Dodge is.
Right, right. Well, I'm super excited. I'm so proud of the work that both of you did, as well as everybody at Dodge, and our student leaders who did such a great job during that site visit. And now it's time to just celebrate. It's time to work with other middle schools and intermediate buildings to share our ideas and to learn some new ideas from other schools that have been designated across the state and nationally too. And I just want to say kudos to both of you for your hard work behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Oh, you're very welcome. Very, very proud of Dodge Intermediate School.
Thank you.
Well, as we end our show for today, just a reminder to everyone that spring break is just around the corner. It starts March 26th. The students come back to school on Tuesday, April 3rd. April 2nd is a staff day, but the students will have one additional day and come back on April 3rd. So before you know it, it will be spring in the air, and we certainly hope to see everyone at one of our wonderful events here in the Twinsburg City School District. Have a great day, everyone.